Hey, so
Hello, hello.
excited.
Hello.
For those of you that don't know, my name is Jazmyne Bailey, and I am a manager here in the product placement execution side for branded integration. Today we have Nicole and Jonathan from my alma mater, Howard University, here representing two of our Black Greek organizations, one that I hold dear to my heart, and that is Delta Sigma Theta. We have Nicole, and then from Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, we have Jonathan Logan.
Hello.
Um, yeah, Nicole, do you want to give your introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole Hildreth. I'm a graduating senior political science major, community development minor from Los Angeles, California, currently attending Howard University, and I am a fall 2020 initiate of Alpha Chapter, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Let's see. Coming up.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan Logan. I am a graduating senior television and film major, African American Studies minor from Brooklyn, New York. I am a spring 2020 initiate of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated Beta Chapter, and I currently serve as the vice president and also, along with that, as the step master as well.
Yes. Okay. So I guess we'll give brief introduction about the organization for those of you who who aren't familiar with Black Greek organizations. These organizations are lifelong commitments.
Mhm.
And we dedicate ourselves to the communities that we represent that the organizations hold dear to their heart post the collegiate post the collegiate I guess you want to call it collegiate or membership. And so, yeah, I'll let Nicole give a brief introduction on Delta Sigma Theta, when it was founded,
Mhm.
why it was founded, and then you could just name, a couple of notable members
Okay.
that will resonate with some of our viewers.
Wonderful. Yes, so Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated was founded on January 13th, 1913, at Howard University by 22 collegiate women who really didn't see an organization at the time that was based on their ideals and kind of what they wanted out of a sorority. So these women really came together to create one of their own. And so they founded Delta Sigma Theta to promote academic excellence and provide assistance to those in need with a primary focus on the Black community. And so the founders of Delta Sigma Theta really envisioned an organization that was really committed to sisterhood, to scholarship, to service, and also addressing the social issues of the time. And really, since its founding, Delta Sigma Theta has really become one of the most distinguished service based sororities. And some notable deltas include Keisha Lance Bottoms, who was the former mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, singer Aretha Franklin, actor Cicely Tyson, and poet and activist Nikki Giovanni.
Love it. We love it. Jonathan, do you want to give the audience, a brief introduction into Alpha Phi Alpha, when the organization started, why, and a couple notable members that will resonate with our audience?
Absolutely, absolutely. So Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was founded on Tuesday, December 4th, 1906, on the campus of Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. Founded by 7 Black men who we affectionately today know as our jewels. We're looking to create a foundation and create a community where there really wasn't one. We understand the landscapes of what the early 1900s looked like, and understand the scarcity in spaces that were designed and created for us. So these Black men got together on this college campus, in the position in which it is that I stand right now, and we're looking to create community. We're looking to create space for everybody to be able to, or at least for Black men to kind of just join with one another, looking kind of against the face of all of the discrimination, racism that was being present on their campus. Um, so all of this work has culminated and really just leads up to everything that is what we do today with a number of our national programs and all of the amazing work that's taking place on the number of chapters all across the entire country and then even beyond internationally as well. When we look at some of the notable members, we think about individuals such as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Thurgood Marshall, Frederick Douglass, Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. And this is just a small list of an extremely and, very robust list of individuals, of great men who have effectively adapted and shifted and changed the entire way in which we understand the entire American landscape to today.
Amazing. And that's a good segue into my next question. I would love for you both to share just either past or present events that you all hold dear to your organization. Any notable moments that your organization participated in to shift change within the Black communities.
Yeah, definitely. So Delta Sigma Theta has really been a participant in many historical events, with our first act of public service being a part of the Women's Suffrage March of 1913. And so over the years, we've really had a wide range of initiatives and programs that address education and health, international development, and really just strengthening the African American family. And in really realizing this mission, Delta Sigma Theta has provided an extensive array of public service initiatives and ways that we go about our advocacy and activism and community development. And we do that through our 5-point programmatic thrust, which is economic development, educational development, international awareness and involvement, political awareness and involvement, and physical and mental health. And so, as people who are constantly trying to find the best ways to develop our community, it's really nice to have pillars to work under to do those developments. And so we really realize that these communities are lacking resources. And so we are figuring out how we as Delta women can alleviate those discrepancies, or making sure that these marginalized communities are actively being able to be recognized and actively working with them and for them for their development. And so some notable national programs include Jabberwock, which is one of my favorites. It's a fundraising scholarship competition through a showcase of creative and artistic talent. We have Delta Days at the UN and at the nation's capital, where we take the opportunity to speak with members of Congress to really voice and address issues that are pertinent to the Black community. And we also do a lot of work internationally, such as our Mary Help of the Sick Mission Hospital in Kenya. We have this really big World's AIDS Day, and we have a partnership with Habitat for Humanity, where the sorority helps to build homes in both the US and Africa. And Delta Sigma Theta has also become the first Black Greek letter organization to be named a non-governmental organization by the UN. So that's really, really great. And then our chapter on Howard's campus, we also follow through with lots of extensive programming throughout the year, such as our Bite the Bullet event. That's by our social action committee that falls under our political and awareness and development. And we also have our Code Red, which focuses on the current crisis when it comes to Black women and our bodies, and how we aren't really given the actual resources we need to really take care of ourselves. And we talked about ways that we can aid ourselves as Black women and give ourselves those resources. And so our chapter, Delta at Large, and chapters really around the world work very hard towards the advancement of our community and our society, while really keeping the ideals of our founders in our minds and in our hearts, to make sure that whatever we do is very impactful.
That was a really good response. Thank you for going in depth and really giving, in detailed, the organization and the pillars that it follows, and the type of work that they do both nationally and internationally. Jonathan, we would love to hear about Alpha Phi Alpha.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before I begin, I just want to kind of go off of what Nicole said. I at least have to say one of my personal favorite events of theirs is definitely Jabberwock, and kind of having the privilege to be able to see it last year was definitely just one of the eye-opening things. One of my close friends was one of the people organizing it as well, so that was really a beautiful moment to be able to kind of be present and just take part of as well. But kind of looking at towards the work that is happening on our side, when looking at my founders, looking at our jewels. these men back in 1906 were developing an entire framework around ideas of manlyhood, scholarship, and love for all mankind. And these bases, these pillars, have become the thing that has launched and propelled us forward for all of these years in terms of the work that is done on an international level, and also the work that is being done through individual chapters. And, I'll get into some of the work that, we do in terms of Beta chapter in a second. But looking internationally, some of our key programs are, Brothers Keeper, Go to High School, Go to College, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, and Project Alpha. So, two of those ones in particular, Go to High School to Go to College, and A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, that I will touch on. Go to High School, Go to College is one of our premier initiatives that targets young men in high school, middle school, and really just encouraging and laying the seeds within them that they know that, further education is a possibility, and that it is an option, and that is something that is necessary when it comes to your development and your matriculation, not only through college or just, through the educational space, but just through life in general. So, we kind of find ourselves, and a lot of times, being able to do a lot of work that's targeted and focused towards high schools, that's focused towards, getting outreach towards middle schools, and really being able to just connect and interact with these young men so that they, see encouragement, and they see us as like a reflection of what is possible. A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, very much so within the name, also speaks to another one of our very strong programs that, every year, it's, I think, one of the biggest things that we sometimes forget when it comes to this entire voting space, that it's so much more than just like, the presidential election every 4 years, but that there is, midterms, that there are, your more local primaries and everything else that's, that you do need to make sure that you are present and have a voice for, because it is our voice, it is our votes that are having a level of influence in terms of exactly what the entire country looks like and what it is that we're speaking on, and what it is that we're able to see actualized and formed for us. And that's just kind of looking at some of, our more like national programs and how much that's been a continuation. But looking a little bit more inward, we look at things such as, for our chapter, our program that we have done for the past roughly 10 years now, which is B2B, which stands for Brother to Brother, which is a program that we held annually where we reach out to the different schools, middle schools within the DC area, and then bring these boys onto campus and then engage with them in an entire day of different events, activities, projects, allowing them to see the college campus, but then also them being able to see us as well, and then us being able to develop relationships. We kind of continue that on through the number of scholarships that we create over the course of the year to be able to then bring that entire, experience, but then also be able to help on a more financial and monetary front. Otherwise, we have things such as our Mind Over Matter event, which we just started this year in response towards the entire COVID space, and really being able to focus on creating space for healthy and confident conversations to take place around just mental health and, how it is that people are feeling on a week by week basis. And then my last part, because I know that I've been going for a second, is our last program of the State of the Black Man, which we are now going upon our 9th edition right now, which is a program that we started back in 2015, where we effectively just speak and talk towards the state of the Black man year by year, and just looking at the numbers and the statistics around, exactly what our existence and the type of space that we are taking up within just the entire social space, looking at the areas in which it is that we're doing well and looking at the areas in which it is that we're not doing so well, so that we could actually think around ideas and create very, practical responses towards these things, so that we can, again, push forward and make ourselves better, and lead in the light as an alpha man should do every single day.
Amazing. And just to say, like, both communities, not both communities, both organizations, and almost all, if not all, of the Greek organizations within the Black community are all representation, and all are dedicated to the development of marginalized communities, specifically Black communities. So that does hold a dear place in all of our organizations' hearts. And so to pillar off of that, something that's very significant to Greek organization is stepping. Stepping is something that originated in the 20th century, and it started within African and Black communities, specifically sororities and fraternities. It's a way to express as a way to bond, as a way to fellowship, as a way to develop as well, mentally, physically. And both of these organizations did an amazing job at putting together a performance to showcase to showcase to our Ben audience, stepping. We are going to start with Nicole and the ladies of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We're going to show a video, and then we can come back and have a little bit of dialogue about it. And Nicole will share, details and what went into making the, creating this stuff. We could kind of like giggle about it because we all know that it is a process. So, yeah, right here we have Nicole and the women of Alpha Chapter Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And they're going to put together, they're going to show us a little, excerpt.
In 1913, a new order reigns supreme on the campus of Howard University. 108 years of running the yard. We make it look easy, but it's so hard. We said we make it look easy, nice, and easy, nice. And sisterhood in our hearts, dedicated to success, scholarship and service, there's no time to rest. Alpha Chapter here to stay, our shoulder bears the A. If you ain't DST, now you know our history.
Now you know our history. It was so good.
Yes, thank you.
Do you want to give the audience like a little bit of insight on, stepping? I know this was just a short step that you guys put together, but step shows require a lot of hours.
So much work. Yes. Well, for this one specifically, like we came up with we typically start with the chant first, so we kind of have something to work off with. And then we'll try to come up with some beats. It's a lot of hard work because, sometimes not everybody like has stepping experience before, so that also provides like an extra layer of a challenge. But Delta women never shy away from a challenge.
No.
And so we really, it's a lot of collaboration, a lot of trial and error, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to really just get it. And that was just a short piece, but we've performed at our Taste of Howard show before, which kind of gives freshmen like a little taste of the organizations that we have on campus. As Jazmyne mentioned, we also performed at our STEP show, which was absolutely one of the best experiences I've ever had at Howard. Like she said, like stepping is very important. It is a very important part of our organization, and it takes a lot of physical and mental strength and endurance. But it's also such a great bonding experience. I know I'm so grateful to have had that experience with my sisters. We chat about it, we laugh about it. It was overall like wonderful.
Thank you, Jonathan. The men of Alpha Phi Alpha always show up when it comes to stepping. You men never disappoint. I get excited every time I'm at a step show, and no matter what chapter it is, when the alphas are presented, I'm like zoned in.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jonathan and his brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha Beta chapter have also put together an amazing short excerpt of stepping for us to enjoy. And we will come back with, a little bit more dialogue after we watch.
A-L-P-H-I-A-M-I-S-A-A-L-P-H-I-S-A, respect your roots, boy.
That was good.
it's the for I love it. Jonathan, I mean, do you want to explain the creative behind the step that you and your brothers put together for us today?
Got you. So that was like a short little thing that we put together. Once we kind of found out about this, that's one of our like popular steps amongst our chapter, entitled Bollywood. It's a whole bunch of interesting things around the name, but that right there was really just like one of our primary ones that we usually do. Of course, starting off with our call off, ALPHA, say PHI, A5, say ALPHA, say respect your roots. And it's always like a reminder for us to just, kind of stay true to just like, our foundations, understanding those who kind of came before us. But then also just a call out to everybody else to just, to respect your roots and know exactly where it is that you come from. Being being the first, fraternity to be established is like always one of those things that we carry very heavy on our hearts and, always try to remind of that. But, that was pretty much the most of it for just this little piece for today.
That was good. I wish we could have gotten more. When you see one step, it's like, I need more and I need more and I need more and I need more.
Absolutely.
We really wanted to present to the audience something live, but technically it just didn't make sense. So both organizations did take the time out to put together some videos to really showcase the talents that all of these Black organizations hold deeply to their heart and the culture within the organization as a whole. Both Nicole and Jonathan are deemed step masters. Okay, they have mastered the art of step. Mastered the art of step. And I just want to say, when I was on campus, stepping wasn't my thing. I love to stroll. Oh, we should have added strolling into this, but I love to stroll. But stepping was just something that I couldn't really.
It takes a lot.
It's hard. And so I'm amazed. I was one of the people that would just bring the props in and run on out, the lights, I give the dramatics and that effect, but you both really, and both the sisters of Delta Sigma Theta and the brothers of Alpha Phi Alpha have really put together 2 amazing videos to share with us. And I'm so happy about that. I'm so grateful for that. I do want to get into a little bit of details on like what makes someone a step master.
Yeah. Oh, do you want to go first, Jonathan?
Nah, you got it.
Okay. Let's see. Well, that is a kind of overall process. We really look at our aligned sisters and kind of see who might have had like a dance background or a stepping background or just might happen to naturally have rhythm. And so we choose around, depending on how many people are on our line, we'll choose probably like 4 to 5 women that are basically the best dancers and also like have those leadership qualities to be able to lead our sisters in putting on a step show or putting together a stroll or anything like that. So you kind of take those dancing skills and things like that along with the leadership skills, and then you've got a nice step master. And so we work together and we kind of lead our line when it comes to stepping and strolling. So if we're performing a step show, we're going to take charge on that and kind of figuring out what's going to be on the step show, what our theme is going to be, things like that. And then we collaborate with our other sisters that step with us to actually create content. And then for strolling, like we'll be the ones to call it off at the front and we all just kind of have a really good time. So yeah.
Let's see, what makes a step master? I think I definitely think that it's like, you kind of come into it with like a certain level of just understanding of like, dance and movement. And, I'm like not trained professionally in dance or anything like that, but, I've always been able to like keep beats and like keep, track of just timing in my head. But I would say the things that, make a step master, it starts in the entire training process to be able to get to that place. Like the step masters that have come before me are all individuals that are like, I want to say very anal about it. to say the least. Yeah, like extremely anal about it. But it's
Lots of
necessary because
precision, so I can
yeah,
only imagine. Yeah.
absolutely. It's all about, who is the person that is going to go the extra mile to make sure that, that their lines are as straight as possible. Who is the person that is going to be able to provide the energy? Who is the person that is going to, do more sets of like the step, after practice is done to make sure that it's properly embedded into, the muscle memory and into just the regular memory. It is the person who is going to, when you have done like your 50th run for the entire evening, who's going to come back for the 51st and still maintain the same energy, but then also be able to bring their personality to the table. And it's cool, it's fun, it's an enjoyable time. It's a lot of work, to say the least. A lot of, just holding squats and getting your arms into, good
Yeah.
position and everything all the time. But I think like my entire journey of it being able to get to that place was a very, an interesting yet rewarding time. And then being able to then connect with all of the step masters that came before me was definitely a very like, fulfilling and enlightening moment. But then also just seeing how much is that they care and love the entire art form as well.
That's amazing. I do want to open the floor up to any questions that the audience may have for Nicole and Jonathan, whether it be Greek life or any programming that they may have, ways that our audience can help support in any way with any of the initiatives that you guys may be implementing soon. So yeah, if you have a question or even just about stepping, clearly you don't have to be, to Jonathan's point, you don't have to have background in stepping or even in dance. It's a lot of dedication and, detail. A person, got to be detailed oriented. And yeah, so if anyone has any questions for Jonathan and Nicole, I would like to open the floor now. Feel free to ask away. Any questions? If not, I'll ask one. An estimate. How long or how many hours of practice goes into putting together one performance for like a step show? It's a lot of hours, huh?
Yeah.
I want to say so for our Taste of Howard, we were practicing for roughly 2 weeks and change, with hours going from, I want to say, like 8 to like 2 in the morning, sometimes 3 in the morning. So at 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, so about roughly 7 hours over, I want to say 7 hours over 3 weeks, 21 hours more. No, what am I saying? Not 21 hours, it's more than that. Yeah. It's like 7 hours roughly over like 3 weeks. Yeah. Over like, roughly like 5 to 6 days. And that was just for the Taste of Howard. For like a step show, that's looking at, not 2 to 3 weeks, but, 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I co-sign that for sure. But specifically for our step show, we had about 2 months of preparation for that. We really began like the first kind of 3 weeks with just simply conditioning our bodies, because a step show requires a lot out of you physically, especially if that's not something that you're used to doing on a daily. So we really had to push ourselves to condition to really get our bodies ready before we even began even thinking about what we wanted to make the show actually look like. So that was like the first 3 weeks, and similar to the same hours as Jonathan, it was just a bunch of working out. And then as things started getting closer to our step show date, that's when the hours get a little longer. And we started as early as we can. We said, you guys, okay, fine. Class is in at 5. We'll give you 2 hours for homework. And we're there at 7, and we just go. Sometimes we were lucky and we would get out before midnight, but that was mostly not the case. Not the case. Especially like the week of show or the week right before. We wanted to make sure that it looked absolutely perfect. And that's just, it really shows our drives of all these organizations that work so hard for our step shows, like we are very particular about precision, about everybody looking the same. Like the whole point of the step show is to be together, to look well put. And so that obviously has a lot of time and dedication. So it's even beyond just like the physical, but also like mentally preparing yourself for something of that magnitude is really important and requires a lot of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We look like we have some questions.
Mhm.
Adam has asked, I've heard of stepping, but what's strolling? Do one of you want to take?
Yeah, strolling is more dance oriented. Honestly,
Mhm.
stepping is like a form of dance, but like more precision. Strolling is really just like, a lot more dance, but still done in like line formation, in the group. Usually you'll see people strolling at, parties, weddings, more like, more social gatherings. Uh,
Mhm.
that's something that you'll usually see backed out a lot more frequently than you usually will see stepping. Stepping usually has like a more, ceremonial feel to it, and you see it at certain times. So whether it be step shows, maybe at a graduation or at a, really important event, that's
Mhm.
usually the times you see it. But strolling is a lot more dance based. There's a lot more free flowing.
Yeah.
That was a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Strolling is
co-sign
like
that.
my thing. I would love to hop in the stroll line quickly. Um, and it's fun. It's playful.
It's fun.
It's
Mhm.
light. And if you're, a more playful and free moving type of person, strolling is like perfect. I want to say it's kind of similar to line dancing, but not really. But if you had to compare it to something to get an idea of what it was, maybe line dancing, maybe. But line
Yeah.
dancing, you don't really move a lot. With strolling, it's a line that moves
Mhm.
Mhm.
throughout the room. Um, but everyone's doing the same formations. So maybe next year we'll do a panel on strolling and we can just all get out there and just stroll. And hopefully next year we could be live because the pandemic will be over. But yeah, that's wishful thinking. It looks like Jam Wilson wants to know, do you perform and collaborate with other orgs and teams, or is it a competitive vibe that you're trying to outperform each other?
So when it comes to stepping or strolling, that's usually kind of more each organization does their own thing, because like each organization kind of has a certain vibe of the way that they step or the way that they stroll. It's like not all the same. So and then with our step show, it is like a competition and we win money for the chapter. So that's kind of where we're, just a little friendly competition. But I think collaboration amongst the orgs happens in other spaces, like both socially and then programmatically. Like we will often partner with programs that we put on campus, and so that way both organizations work together, and people that are interested in hearing whatever the program is about can come and be with us that way. So that's kind of how we interact with each other, one of the ways at least.
Okay, we'll go to the next question. What has been your most meaningful, impactful moment in your sorority / fraternity so far? Jonathan, you want to take it?
Let's see. Yeah. Most meaningful moment that I could think of off the top of my head. It's kind of interesting. I'm gonna like do a little culmination of like multiple things, and I feel like that's like the easiest way to put it. Especially because it's like, for me and Nicole, we kind of share the experience of like, us kind of coming into, our organizations got really much so disrupted with, COVID-19. And a lot of the normal things that we were expecting our sophomore year just really never really came to fruition like that. So, probably some of the more normal things like, probate or, your first party afterwards or, those things, those we weren't really able to experience because our just looks a lot different. Um, but I would definitely say that it's like, it's really just any time when we're all together in the same room, because that's
Mhm.
probably one of the hardest things when it comes down to it is like, you'll see everybody right after you get in, but then afterwards that becomes one of the biggest challenges of being able to get everybody into the same room. So I'm thinking about, just social times that we've been out for like evenings for like dinner or been able to go out to, say Six Flags or anything like that. It's really just the times when we're able to all really just be together and just enjoy space and community with one another. Yeah, definitely, that for sure.
That's a good answer. Yeah. And I'm not going to lie, I second that. My most meaningful and empathic moments when I was a member, as a, past member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, was the times that I got to spend with my line sisters. And even to this day, it's so hard to get us all together, to fellowship, to connect, to laugh, smile, even just like hugs. And I'm like 8 years, I'm going on 8 years. So it's like, it doesn't get any easier. So I think the best times are when you're in school and everyone is in school and you guys can kind of like try to gather everyone up. And I understand that we aren't like the current climate of college these days is a little bit different. And so, it's hard to get you all together with, campus being closed here and there, or some people not feeling comfortable being near on campus, and just having to navigate that in this pandemic and still flourish within the organization and create those bonds in those moments with each other. So I commend you both for kind of like being dedicated to sisterhood and brotherhood and finding ways to have those meaningful moments together, all together. It's gonna get harder, trust and believe. So yeah, enjoy the collegiate years. I want to go to the next question. Aaron says, how do you balance it all? Full-time student, stepping, and the incredible community work. I'm in awe. I need a nap just thinking about you practicing until 3 a.m.
It's incredibly difficult. I don't even know how I balance it all. Full-time student, stepping, we still have programming. I have a full-time internship as well. So I'm busy, but what I think makes me continue to work and actually push myself is because of I love the work I do. I love spending time with my line sisters. I love that we get to impact the community through our programs and our initiatives. So it makes it all worth it. Does that mean I really needed to develop some time management skills? Yes, and just really being communicative. And one of the greatest parts of the sisterhood is having a support system and having a safety net. When I'm really having a hard day, I can always be like, can you please come and just study with me and just help me keep focused? Like, I'm really struggling. Or if we were at step practice and we were hungry, like somebody would come and bring us food, bring us water, bring us snacks. Like, it's all part of the bond that we have. So when somebody does need some extra help, there are so many sisters there that are just willing to support you, all the way from homework help. It's like, did anybody take Spanish too and can help me really quickly, to familial issues and just needing somebody to listen to you. Like, that's really the best part. And that's honestly how I've been able to balance it all.
Jonathan, do you want to add to that or no?
Yeah, I think like the part that definitely hits the hardest is, I sometimes wake up some mornings, I'm just like, how in the world am I balancing all of it? Again, full-time student, stepmaster, vice president of the chapter. On top of that, also have an internship as well over this entire semester. You know, it's really just a thing of just trying to figure out how the time management works and really just creating time and space to know what matters. I definitely could say that the years of me being in this, because it's now like approaching 2 years, which is like so insane to think about that it's like coming up so fast. But the times with my line brothers has probably been some of the most transformative moments in my life, and some of the most eye-opening, some of the most healing, some of the most fun altogether. And being able to have this network of guys who genuinely and really just cares about your best interest and your just personal development and your growth, and really just trying to see you win in the ways in which it is that you desire the most for your heart, is really solid. And it's sometimes hard to find for real these days. But to know that those people do exist and that they're really just a text or a phone call away really means the world. And then on top of all my pro fights from far behind me as well.
That was a good answer. We'll close it out with our last question. How will you continue to represent your organization post-graduation?
Yes. So Delta Sigma Theta is a lifetime
A
commitment.
lifetime
Um,
commitment.
so even though, I leave campus, like I still am a representative of Delta Sigma Theta. So I know that mostly means like joining a grad chapter. And so you can still put on programs that way. They're geared towards the community as usual as you do in collegiate. So, that's the main way that I can continue to be active and represent my organization, but just also like through my everyday life and embodying the ideals and the pillars that we stand on of sisterhood, scholarship, and service. And so really pursuing those things, still serving my community and scholarship and really connecting with other women, my line sisters, just everything. And that's really important. And then also, giving back and helping with Alpha Chapter as much as I can, providing lending ear or giving advice or even monetarily, like whatever I can to help future generations as well.
That was good. Jonathan, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, a lot of the same things echoed. Upon graduation, the reality is going to be joining one of the graduate chapters. Being a part of like my alumni association for my chapter as well. And these just become more continuous ways for you to be able to continue to like sow seeds and sow life into towards, the thing that, 2 years ago I made a commitment and, said that, I am dedicating my life towards Alpha Phi Alpha, and dedicating it towards the work that we do, towards our aims, towards our vision, and to our goals. Um, and that's the way in which it is that I see it happening. In the same way that Nicole just mentioned, it's going to be a thing that the new members that come in towards the chapters, by the time that we're gone, is being able to provide them, not only monetary support, but also being able to be a voice that they could listen to, and could also speak their words into a person that could be able to then, also for me, being able to just come back to the chapter and being able to help out in any way possible that I can see fit, or that they need me to be present for, because that's, what matters. You need to know what people need before you kind of situate yourself into the space. And yeah, that's like the way that it's probably going to work out in a few months.
Yeah, look, I mean, congratulations. I mean, first, let me just say thank you to the both of you. First of all, as a proud alumni of Howard University and a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, I am in awe at both of you, how you guys presented and represented your organization today. And I know I can say this and speak for everyone who was tuning in. You guys are amazing and spoke incredibly well to the organization and to yourself and what you both stand on. I mean, look, I don't know if there's anybody, any HU alumni out there tuning in, but shout out to Howard and what they are producing out there. Amazing work, amazing people dedicated to service and community and growth. And so on that note, I understand that programming and fundraising is very hard during times of COVID, and getting people engaged and involved in your organization is very hard. Is there any way for any of our viewers to help donate money to organization fundraise? Is there any way for them to help in any initiatives that you guys have coming up? Please go ahead and throw that out there now. Issue.
Yeah, the support is super necessary and it's very well received. I think like the most accessible way, off the top of my head, I'm not the treasurer of the chapter, so I don't have all of our information immediately, but one of the easiest ways is our Cash App, which is a $ treasurer beta. And then also as well as just kind of following us on Instagram as well at AFI Beta 1907. And then just kind of keeping up towards the things that we're doing in the chapter. And then just kind of keeping an eye, we always are doing fundraising events and other things. So if you kind of follow the page and see, some of the stuff that we have coming up, feel free to just shoot us a quick little message. I'm heading the social media account, so I usually am always fielding, the new things that are coming in. So, if you just like reach out that way as well, that will, we could set something up and, get you the other ways and means that, you could be able to donate, help out, fundraise, or be of assistance towards what we're doing.
Yeah. Similarly to Jonathan, I think the easiest way to access us is through our Instagram at Alpha Chapter DST for more information like regarding fundraising. That's mostly how you can support us like monetarily, but we also do a lot of programming. I know we just had our the Heart of Matter program, which was in honor of Heart Health Awareness Month. And so we have different things like that. And we partner with a lot of different organizations. I know that we're doing a CPR training with Dom Heart 21 Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that's really committed to spreading awareness about heart health and CPR training. So if you potentially have an organization or a company or a group that would like to partner with Delta Sigma Theta and our chapter and kind of get the word out there so that it could be mutually beneficial for the both of us, then definitely shoot us a DM on our Instagram. We also have a social media person. It's not me, but she fields those DMs as well, and we can get connected that way.
Amazing. Thank you both again. Shall we end with the Howard hand? HU,
HU.
Are you guys down for it? Okay. HU.
No.
Okay. Thank you both. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Nicole and Jonathan, our Black Greek panelists.
Yes.
Thank you both. I really appreciate it. If anybody has any questions, I will send out the Instagram handle so that the Ben family can access you all. Again, thank you. I appreciate it. This was fun. Next year, we're going to stroll. Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Come on. Let's make it happen.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one. Have a good one. Have a good one.